Jake Paul just recently knocked Tyron Woodley out for the second time. In an insane spectacle, Paul knocked Woodley out clean as he dropped to the floor and remained motionless for a few minutes. Although the fight was rather slow until the 6th round knockout, it was still an epic jab, which continues to highlight Paul's growing boxing success. Let's delve into all the details surrounding the bout, along with pros and celebs' reactions to this knockout. Stay tuned for all the juicy inside details. Jake Paul's insane win over Tyron Woodley once again. Jake Paul's received a lot of acclaim from boxing fans after his dramatic knockout victory over Tyron Woodley, with many pushing him to challenge a professional boxer in his next bout. In the 6th round of their fight on Saturday, AEDT, Paul sent Woodley to the canvas, and the former UFC star lay motionless for many moments before being attended to by medics. The YouTuber's second victory over Woodley was even more convincing, ensuring that he stays undefeated in professional boxing. With a 5-0 record, fans praise Paul's striking strength, claiming that his ability to knock Woodley out cold demonstrated that he is a legitimate boxer. Ariel Helwani, an MMA journalist, called the stunning knockout strike pure insanity. He continued, stating, "That was legit scary for Woodley," he said. "He was down for a while, and even when he stood up, he was out of it. And then his corner told him what happened, and he kept saying, 'No, no, no.' Had no idea. Pure insanity, what a shot." While Paul's knockout punch garnered him a lot of praise, many observers were disappointed by the fight's lethargic start, which saw both combatants reluctant to attack and instead opt for defensive clinches. The fight was mostly boring until the final strike, when the tempo slowed dramatically before Paul KO'd the opponent. Paul's knocked out Woodley and former NBA star Nate Robinson in 2 of his 5 fights. Fans have remarked that Paul is becoming better with each bout, but have stated that he'll not gain recognition in the boxing world until he fights a professional fighter in the ring. He may have gone 5-0 in his brief career, but the fact that the 24-year-old has never faced a professional boxer casts doubt on the quality of his triumphs. However, as he continues to pile up the cash for his efforts in the squared circle, it appears unlikely that Paul will buck his trend of fighting stars from sports other than boxing. He declared he was eager to fight anyone, anywhere, anytime after destroying Woodley, and he didn't miss the opportunity to call out UFC stars Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz. It'll be interesting to see who Paul will go up against next. It's clear that boxing fans want the YouTuber turned boxer to fight a real current boxer, not someone retired or an exhibition. This will prove once and for all if Paul really is as good as he continually claims, or if he'll just remain an exhibition boxer. Only time will tell. Pros and celebs react to Jake Paul's KO over Tyron Woodley. On Saturday at the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, all eyes were on the highly anticipated Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley rematch. Paul, a 24-year-old internet star turned boxer, kept his unblemished record and more than made up for the audience's patience with a vicious 6th round knockout strike. Paul, 5-0, 4 KOs, rained a body punch in the last minute of the 6th round to cause Woodley, 0-2, to remove his gloves, allowing for a strong right hand to the head. There's no denying it was an incredible shot to the face. The outcome was far more spectacular than the first meeting between Paul and Woodley. On August 29, Paul and former UFC welterweight champion Woodley fought in Paul's hometown of Cleveland, with the former winning by split decision. On Saturday's show, Paul was scheduled to fight Tommy Fury, the younger brother of WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, but a rib injury forced him to withdraw 2 weeks before the fight. Woodley came in and helped create one of the best moments in boxing this year. Here are some of Trae Young's, Danny Garcia's, and other celebrities' reactions to Paul's knockout. Trae Young, an American pro basketball player, quickly took to Twitter post-match to commend Paul, writing, "He needs to fight boxers. Wow, Jake Paul." Pro boxer Danny Garcia shared his thoughts on social media as well, tweeting, "Beautiful right hand by Jake Paul." Daniel Cormier simply wrote, "Oh my god," following the bout, clearly showing he was impressed and stunned by Paul's insanely clean KO over Woodley. Aljamain Sterling, a popular American MMA star, shared his thoughts. However, they weren't very supportive. He wrote on social media, "Paul needs to fight an MMA guy his size if he wants to keep doing this crossover thing, or go fight a real boxer." Only moments later, he continued tweeting out, "I really hate this take," as if Paul is some fat, unathletic slob that he just fought in a bar. Jake Paul is an athlete. Jake Paul is much bigger than Woodley. Jake Paul's punches will always land harder being the bigger guy. This is boxing, not MMA. It's clear that Sterling believes that Paul is just receiving all this praise, even though he is a fitting fighting opponents who are clearly smaller, which wouldn't fly in the real boxing or MMA world. Many people online share this opinion. They want to see Paul in the ring with a real boxer. However, you have to give Paul credit. He had planned to be in the ring with Tommy Fury, a real boxer who's in the same size and weight range as Paul, but Fury pulled out at the last second, so Woodley was merely filling in. Patrick Mahomes, a very well-known retired NFL player, tweeted out quickly following the fight he really put him to sleep, and that he certainly did. In another tweet, Clarissa Grote Shields, an American boxer and pro MMA fighter, wrote, "Man, this MF so lucky. Literally swung a right hand with his eyes closed." On a different note, Chris Lieben, a pro MMA fighter, called Paul out, quickly tweeting, "Anytime, any place. Let's slip those gloves off and bare knuckles, Jake Paul." But you don't hear me though, clearly trying to get a rise out of Paul. The biggest takeaways from the second bout between Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. The rematch between Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley on Saturday night was always going to be a crowd pleaser. A rematch of their underwhelming first bout, on the other hand, would have been disastrous for Jake Paul and his boxing brand. Though the fight was pretty average before the knockout, the final moments had the crowd ecstatic. Here are two of the biggest takeaways from the bout. Everything was horrible before the KO. To be honest, the bout between Paul and Woodley before the knockout was a disaster. It was not an exciting watch, even when taken with a grain of salt that all celebrity crossover fights must be treated with. It was full of fouls, clinching, and very little effective punching. Then, with a right punch that wiped everything that had gone before, Paul put himself on to resume his boxing career, kind of highlight that will keep fans interested in his next fight. After all, we live in viral times, and nothing in sports is more viral than a nasty knockout. Paul's game is glaring weaknesses, and his fight-to-fight improvement appears to have slowed. He also has a lot of problems with his cardio. When he knocks someone out, he does so in a dramatic way. Nate Robinson can attest to this. Ben Askren, for example. Now it's Tyron Woodley's turn. When you combine that with big talk, you got a recipe for attracting attention, even when people claim they don't care. Woodley needs to call it quits. You'll never be able to take Woodley's career achievements away from him. He is a former UFC champion and one of the best welterweights to ever compete in an MMA cage. But what options does he have at this point? His UFC career came to an end with a whimper, as he lost 4 consecutive fights and did not win a single round during that time. In the UFC Octagon, Woodley's age and passive in-cage style appeared to have caught up with him. He found a willing opponent and a large payday in Paul, and he was competitive enough in the first bout to make it appear like there was still some brilliance left in him. Then came Saturday night, when he was reminded that he was in a relationship with a younger, more powerful man. Woodley should be proud of everything he's accomplished in his career. Few people can honestly say that about anything they've done in their life, but he was once outstanding. 6 straight losses, the most recent of which was a terrifying knockout at the hands of the Disney Kid, is a sign that it's time to put your combat gloves away and focus on your health. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the bout between Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley, how the boxing and professional sports world has been reacting. Make sure to let us know your thoughts down below. What did you think of the fight? Who should Jake Paul get in the ring with next? Let us know down below. But if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss any of our new and upcoming content. Thanks for watching.